What's up? What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the TMZ Guard. How's it going, Zach?
Doing good, doing good. Yeah, the rainy day guard. Fucking shit. It's been super downpouring rain all day today. That was the worst way, the least eloquent way of putting the weather situation here at the weather guard. But yeah, it's just been downpouring, a deluge of fucking rain. So if you guys have a little bit of auditory in the background, it literally sounds like we're recording this from a ship when the rain picks up. We're in the top floor of an old furniture building, and the walls are thin.
Absolutely. Yeah. Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's a Friday once again. So happy Friday, everyone, for tuning in. Appreciate you guys coming down to hear about this crazy drama involving Jimmy Dore and Matt Binder and the apparently sock puppet account that was exposed. Super excited to break that down and more. But yeah, glad to be back on the show, guys. Everyone hit that like button if you are just tuning in. And also a huge shout out to Christina. Thank you so much, Christina, for the 1999. Happy Friday to the best show on YouTube, the Tea Guard. So psyched for the drama. I brewed an actual cup of tea right here for you, Christina, because you're damn straight. We're going to be spilling some tea today here on the Vanguard, or the Tea Guard.
Yeah, shout out to you, Christina. Really appreciate that generous donation to kick off the show. Yeah, I got a lot of great stuff to talk about today. In addition to the Jimmy pulling a full-on Kevin Durant, we've got Elon Musk malding once again on Twitter, and the ocean of red wave that even the polls are now starting to capture. So yeah, lots of good stuff to discuss. But as always, I'd like to begin and every Vanguard live stream with a massive shout out to the Patreon community, those lovely folks that keep the wheels on our van going round and round, as we say. Comrades, Vanguardians, super Vanguardians, you help keep the lights on.
Yeah, huge shout out to the Patreon community. Thank you guys so much for the support. As you guys know, the Patreon link is in the description. It's going to be found in the description in this video and all of our live stream content. So hit that up, guys, if you're a fan of our work. If you want to support the show, have your own name up there on the shout out screen. Quite an honor. So yeah, huge shout out to all the comrades, Vanguardians, super Vanguardians, all our patrons in general. And shout out to all you guys for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like button. Again, before we get started, get some more comrades in the chat, get some more eyeballs on this conversation. Would really appreciate if you guys hit that like button. And again, thank you so much, Christina, for the 1999. Really appreciate that generous super chat. Thank you also, Dina, for the 199. Are you going to talk about Bree versus NAFO this week if we get around to it? Yeah, we did briefly discuss that yesterday, and it has been pretty interesting watching all that go down. But yeah, thanks for reminding us about that, Dina. We might get into that tomorrow's live stream or something like that.
Yeah, we already had our Vanguard versus NAFO this week, so it was just like a little bit of like conflicting time periods. It was like we were having our own debate with Ukraine. Look, obviously, like the dude was, I mean, he melted down. Like, I mean, not a ton for us to add to the situation other than the fact that dude like mauled at the fact that the chat was angry at him, which we're no strangers to here at the Vanguard either. But shout out to you, Dina, and appreciate the 199.
Yeah, he was like, she weaponized this interview, even though she really just posted like a few clips of it, like she does with every other interview. Anyway, thank you so much for the super chat, Dina. Really appreciate that one. Hopefully we do get around to covering that story. And yeah, anything else you wanted to chat about before we get into the main topic of discussion today, Zach?
Not really. I mean, might as well just get into the meat and potatoes, and then we can kind of go in through the back half and talk a little bit more. But yeah, so this is fucking hilarious. We covered this a few days ago at some point when there was first speculation over at the Majority Report and Matt Binder. Is it Matt Binder or Binder? I think Binder. Yeah, I think it's Binder. Anyway, that dude, he's a frequent, contributor to the Majority Report. He has his own YouTube channel as well. But anyway, that guy has been basically sleuthing it out as to whether or not this one Twitter handle is actually Jimmy Dore. It's like shitlib01 or whatever the hell the name of the Twitter handle is. And I made the joke earlier. I don't know how many of our listeners remember when Kevin Durant, like famously, after he left the Oklahoma City Thunder, he like made a fake Twitter account and would like trash everybody. This is essentially what Jimmy Dore has decided to do, try and bolster his own arguments by basically being a sycophant of his own. Pretty freaking hilarious. Imagine having $1 million and arguing with the people that just like, disagree with you on Twitter. This is like absolute insanity. Okay, Gavin and I don't even really argue with the people, and I guarantee you I have much less interesting things to do with my time than Jimmy's able to afford for himself if he wanted to. So just absolutely embarrassing. And it looks pretty incriminating if you want to start throwing up some of the evidence. Gavin, what was your thought about all this? Were you shocked?
At first, I didn't quite know what to expect because I was like, this is a compelling case, but we have to see a little bit more evidence. More evidence, however, has come to light. So if you guys are a little bit skeptical of this claim at first, I think that some pretty compelling evidence, as I said, has been presented. Let's take a look here at the first video posted by the Majority Report featuring Matt Binder, where he got into these allegations, so to speak, and kind of laid out his case for this burner account being just that, a burner account. And then we'll get into the follow-up video, which was just released either yesterday or today, where some pretty hard-hitting, pretty hard to deny evidence is presented. So excited to get into that in 1 second. Thank you, by the way, Alex, for the $4.99. Happy Friday to you guys. It would be great if you talked about the marijuana measure in your state and a few others. Sorry, I'm such a stoner. Don't have to apologize for that, Alex. We're also stoners, but we'll definitely get into that. Our state, Missouri, is voting, of course, on November 8th for legalizing cannabis at the recreational level. It's already legal at the medicinal level, but yeah, that will be on the ballot. Obviously, Zach and I are excited to vote yes for legal weed, but there have been some controversies in the state about that, even coming from like a more left-wing perspective. So we will get into that either on today's show or on an upcoming show before the midterm elections. But thanks for the reminder, Alex. Really appreciate the support.
Yeah, even Snoop Dogg's telling everybody, vote yes on Prop 3. Unfortunately, we'll get into some controversies where people like St. Louis Mayor, who is sometimes pretty based, other times not based, Tishora Jones, she has a more complicated look at it. We'll talk about that before the election time comes, because that's an issue Gavin and I have been following a lot. And it's like the one thing in the election that Gavin and I get to vote on that will likely actually materially impact our lives. So we will definitely be covering it. Yeah, and that election is literally on Tuesday. So fuck me, that's coming up.
Yeah, we got to go participate in democracy. We got to go save democracy, Zach. But yeah, thank you so much, Alex. And also thank you for the $1.99. So basically Trump posing as his publicist, pretty much.
I was going to say,
absolutely.
There's another person that famously was their publicist and was going to leak a bunch of very incriminating videos proving that they had a publicist, but we never saw it. So yeah, swimming in the same swamp.
Absolutely. And it's just simple green tea, nothing too fancy over here, just a cup of green tea. I already had my coffee this morning and I was like, probably shouldn't have another cup of coffee. Plus it's raining outside. My car's in the shop right now and I didn't want to walk all the way down to the coffee shop and get drenched in the process right before the show. So I did settle for a glass of green tea, but as I said, pretty appropriate given that we are the tea guard and we are about to spill the tea. So yeah, let's take a listen to this first video. Again, this was the first, allegations from Matt Binder about this burner account from Jimmy Dore, kind of laying out the evidence and saying like, this is a suspicious coincidence. So we're not going to watch the whole thing, just the first couple minutes in case any of you guys aren't up to speed. And then we'll move on to the more recent one with even more damning evidence. So this is pretty funny, guys. Really looking forward to breaking it down.
Did a little bit of an investigative report, we could call it, on some suspicious activity on social media that you observed. And we can always count on you for a deep dive. And this one is particularly fun because Jimmy Dore may or may not have a sock puppet Twitter account that exclusively basically defends Jimmy Dore from criticism. Ha.
I tweeted a comment about a Jimmy Dore clip that the Surfs posted on their Twitter account on Monday. And I totally thought nothing of it after I tweeted it. We're now almost 2 days later, and I receive a reply to the tweet. And the reply says, let me pull it up on the screen here. Jimmy literally says, I'm for the mural. And again, this is talking about that local news clip that showed these parents engaging in an anti-LGBTQ and satanic panic type thing, even saying there's witchcraft imagery, satanic imagery in this mural, harassing this teen girl to tears, or the girl who created it. So this Twitter account says, Two Coats is their name, and their Twitter username is @libtard01. Jimmy literally says, I'm for the mural. showing support for the teen girl and her artwork. He's against canceling Halloween, which is why he says both sides. I get you hate Jimmy, but can you just one time tell the truth about what he's saying instead of clipping and twisting it?
Just one
and I'm
time.
like, whoa, this tweet, this reply to my tweet's getting a lot of attention for just a random reply. And so I check out who this person is, and they're really just a nobody, which is fine. But
all right, can you pause it just for 1 second? Just keep it up. Matt, after I watched this video last night, I went to @libtard01 and I saw that one Sam Cedar has chosen to follow
right now.
Right.
Yeah, he's following him now.
I was like, it was just like the only person I know.
Also, I'll just add that this video was posted on the 27th, and this libtard01 account. Let's, go over here real quick and check this out. Zach will be right back, by the way. But yeah, if you go actually to Twitter and check out this account, libtard01, 2 codes, it hasn't posted since October 27th when these allegations dropped. You'd think that if this wasn't Jimmy, then perhaps they would come out here and say, hey, by the way, I don't know what this crazy accusation is, but, I'm not in any way related to Jimmy or the Jimmy Dore show, but nothing but radio silence since. And again, that was the October the 27th. So I've been refreshing and checking, but that's been 8 days now? I think 7 or 8 days. Zach looks like he's experiencing some technical difficulties, by the way. You all right, man?
Dude, I don't know what the fuck's going on. It keeps telling me that StreamYard's having problems.
Apparently, Zach's StreamYard is telling him that he's having issues. So let's keep watching this Sam Cedar clip real quick, or the majority report rather, while we wait for Zach to figure out his shit. But thank you so much, Mike H, for the $5. Zach had to bring up basketball, which reminded me how much the Warriors suck this year. Yeah, well, we'll have to wait till he's back to get his commentary on that because I don't know anything about basketball. But thank you so much, Mike. Really appreciate that. But yeah, let's get back to this video. 1 sec, guys. I'm full screen here, all alone, taking over the Vanguard. Kicked off Zach. It's the Gavin only guard. I'm seizing control and locking him out, guard. But yeah, let's take a listen to the rest of this, guys.
That mutually follows @libtard01 is now Sam, which is just what makes Sam so special, right? Like, he's not going to advertise it, but he wants the owner of @libtard01 to know I see you. So
right.
Yeah, keep going.
Followers. Their Twitter account seems to solely be replies defending Jimmy Dore. There they are sharing a video attacking Sam Cedar's criticisms of Jimmy Dore. There we go, another Jimmy Dore tweet. Anti-Ukraine. See, there's some more COVID conspiracy theories. More Jimmy Dore promotion, more Jimmy Dore promotion, more Jimmy Dore promotion. It's really just an account almost solely defending Jimmy Dore and then tweeting out pretty much the same sort of content that Jimmy Dore talks about on his show, which again, fine, maybe it's a Jimmy Dore fan. But I was struck by the interest this random reply to an almost 2-day-old tweet got. And then I check, and the first person who retweeted it is Jimmy Dore. Now I'm thinking, that's weird, but maybe, no, look. There's no Jimmy Dore tag. He doesn't tag @Jimmy Dore in this tweet. No, he doesn't.
You didn't.
That's fine. Maybe Jimmy Dore is a name searcher. I mean, that's really lame. People who go on Twitter and search their name, without the @ in hopes of finding people like, subtweeting them, whatever you think of it. At least that would explain how Jimmy Dore found it, and that would solve that mystery. Nothing more there. But look at the tweet. Jimmy literally says, he refers to Jimmy Dore again, but he just says, I get you hate Jimmy. He never says Jimmy Dore. To find this tweet, you would have to search just Jimmy. Unless.
All right, guys, I've let Zach back in. I decided that I couldn't sustain this show all on my own. I'm not that talented. Without the yang to my gang, this show is nothing. So Zach is back. # Zach attack. You know what I'm saying?
Woof, Jesus Christ, just thwarted one mutiny coup at the Vanguard. No, it was fucking ridiculous. I was like checking all of my internet back here. Everything was fine. I don't know why I got this notification that StreamYard wasn't working. I think it might be the CIA. I don't know. I'm pretty sure. Exactly. Alex Khan reading my mind over here. I did see we got a question about the Warriors, and Zach had to bring up basketball, which reminded me how much the Warriors suck this year. Yeah, Mike H., if I remember, you're up from Golden State, right? You're up in San Francisco, so you actually had a dog in that fight. Look, I mean, Steph Curry seems like a really good guy. I thought it was hilarious when I can't remember who it was, but somebody wanted to have him do like another super team with him, and he was just like laughed it off. Like, I think the guy's just ready to like play real ball, and I think the super team era is kind of over in the NBA. I think it's actually better to have a team that gels. Obviously, it was going wild and crazy for the Golden State for a while, but if you look at a team like the Lakers now, I mean, they've got LeBron, they had Russ, they had Anthony Davis. I mean, they just couldn't put anything together between the injuries. So just having superstars on your team, it's not enough right now. It doesn't seem like, at least not with the play style and the massively selfish ball that we've been seeing from all these guys that are trying to replicate the success that Golden State had really a while ago at this point.
Yeah, that sounds right to me, man. That sounds like some accurate information coming from Zach, the sport guard. But also thank you so much, Alex, like I said, for the $1.99. Really appreciate that. Also, thank you, American Wasp, Dieter McBusiness, for the $1.99. Do you think we'll ever be free of a nut job, Jimmy D? I mean, here's the thing about Jimmy. He's still right about some things, for sure. He's definitely better than like the mainstream media. He gets a lot of stuff right. But yeah, he has been pandering to the right wing a lot recently. So I don't know if we'll ever get a nut job free Jimmy Dore back. Who knows? Probably not. But I will say, this story is obviously not super substantive necessarily. This isn't really a attack on Jimmy's policy. It's more just, further proof that he's a bit of a narcissist, which we've been pointing out for a long time now. But yeah, thank you so much for the super chat.
Oh yeah, look, I don't know if I even necessarily want to be free of Jimmy. I would rather him come back to some of the better opinions that he had in the past, and maybe not reach so far to cater to just a ridiculous audience. But I mean, I would be a little bummed if I couldn't react to the guy's show anymore. I mean, he makes a really good foil for the kind of content that we like to create here. And, same with the Majority Report at times. So what I just think is fucking hilarious is that it makes perfect sense. Like, as soon as I see this clip, I'm like, of course, Jimmy has probably 30 burner accounts. Okay, the guy loves to defend himself. The guy, I mean, imagine having 100,000 mindless automatons that are ready to bend their brain into a fucking pretzel to defend you at a moment's notice all over the internet, making themselves the loudest, most raucous, devout group of supporters anybody has. And you're like, nah, fuck all of those people. They're not doing a good enough job articulating my brilliance and defending me ardently enough. Like, let me go ahead and actually get my hands dirty and embarrass the shit out of myself. That you gotta respect that kind of a hustle in somebody. I mean, honestly, that takes a certain level of tenacity.
Yeah, and it's funny because like most people that are in the public eye whatsoever, commentators, people online, they do have an extra account, to remain private. I have a couple extra accounts on Twitter, YouTube, etc. I also have another YouTube channel. Zach and I have another YouTube channel. So like we have multiple accounts. But I'm not out here like name searching myself or the Vanguard and then like defending the fucking Vanguard, because we take shit online all the time, guys. You could probably go to any number of accounts any day of the week and they're going to be, mocking me and Zach and talking shit about the Vanguard and all that stuff. But I cannot imagine sitting there with my other accounts, engaging in these little online wars. Pretty funny stuff. And that's also pretty funny, Zayna. That Live Tardo 1 gives you hell sometimes. LOL. That's pretty funny. But also thank you, Christian 999 for the $2. Yo, guys, chip in. Gavin's got to get his car fixed. Yeah, I would appreciate that, man. I really do appreciate the super chat. It's more expensive than you would expect. So definitely thank you so much for the kind thought, Christian.
Yeah. Absolutely. Shout out to you, Christian. Really appreciate it. Oh, well, Jimmy follows us too, gang.
Yeah, he does. And now we follow Libtard01. I just followed them. So, which again has not tweeted since this original video dropped. Let's take a few more minutes of this in before we move on to the new evidence.
Let's just do that. There's probably gonna be some vulgar stuff, maybe. Who knows? But let's just search Jimmy.
This is
on Twitter.
investigative journalism,
pick
Binder.
latest.
There we go. Yeah.
Jimmy VC. Hey, that's about the Rangers.
We're looking at 5 tweets with the word Jimmy in a 5-second time span. Let's refresh this. Brand new tweets coming in just a span of seconds.
So many hockey tweets.
There you
This is
go.
good
There's
for my
some more
agenda.
tweets coming in. So I'm really questioning what's going on here. So then I look at, let me pull this up here. I look at my replies, and now I can't tell the exact time Jimmy Dore retweeted it, but I can see when the first person replied to Jimmy Dore's retweet, because it includes me, that Twitter account with the 55 followers, and it would include at Jimmy Dore, because they'd be replying to Jimmy Dore's retweet. And so the original tweet from at libtard01 with the 55 followers was posted at 7:38 p.m. October 25th. That's right now. That's today, just a few hours ago, 7:38 p.m. And the first person replying to Jimmy Dore's retweet comes in almost right away at 7:41 p.m. So that means Jimmy Dore retweeted this 55 follower Twitter account who did not add him, who did not even type the words Jimmy Dore in their tweet, so you could find it if you search for the search term Jimmy Dore on Twitter. Jimmy Dore retweeted that tweet because I don't know, that's when someone replied to his retweet of the 55 follower tweet. So sometime within the 3-minute span that libtard01 tweeted this at me, Jimmy Dore found it and retweeted it within 3 minutes of this tweet being posted. And now I'm really thinking, I gotta give Jimmy Dore the benefit of the doubt here. Jimmy Dore might follow the guy. And even though this is a reply, Twitter's weird sometimes, maybe the tweet came up in Jimmy Dore's feed. So I'm looking at the 55 followers. This guy's a big Jimmy Dore fan, so maybe Jimmy Dore is a follower of his. Let's scroll right now through all of at libtard01's tweets. Followers. And see if Jimmy Dore's on this list. It's 55 people following him, so it shouldn't be that long.
The People's Party follows me.
They still follow us too, by the way, the People's Party. Anyone got any updates about the People's Party? Are they running candidates, and have they made any ground as far as getting ballot access? Anyone want to let me know if the People's Party has any news to share? I'm excited to see if they've made any progress since the last update. LOL.
Yeah, well, it's thanks to guys like you, Gavin, that really took them down, really brought them down. Just a bunch of hardworking activists that you smeared for no reason while they were standing as the one bastion against the United States imperial oligarchy. Shame on you.
Yeah, so as you guys saw there's the initial evidence kind of laid out by Matt. And when I first saw that, I was like, that's a compelling case, but it's definitely true that someone who's on Twitter as much as Jimmy would have just come across that tweet, retweeted it, whatever. It's not like, it's not conclusive evidence, in my opinion. Definitely suspicious, definitely an interesting coincidence, but still not quite conclusive. Then yesterday, this video dropped. Some more evidence has come to light, and I think this one pretty much puts the nail in the coffin, guys. I think that any doubt you might have had left about this libtard01 account being Jimmy's burner, this video puts that to rest. So this is damn compelling evidence, pretty impossible to deny or argue with, in my opinion. But do you have anything to say about this before we move on, Zach?
Oh gosh, I'm just ready for the smoking gun. Let's just see this.
Yeah, this is some real smoking gun shit, guys. This is crazy.
We'll save Shabibo for tomorrow. Matt Binder has a follow-up investigative report on Jimmy Dore's alleged sock puppet account, libtard01. Still up there? Still up, Binder?
It's still up, and I will say after this, it'll be very hard to use the word alleged in all this.
Wow. We have a two-part. We have a part two.
Part two, yeah. Quick recap. So I posted something criticizing Jimmy Dore last week about 2 days later, a little bit less than 2 days later, I get a reply from a 55 follower account. The first person to defend Jimmy Dore on that tweet in the replies. And immediately after this 55 follower account tweets this Jimmy Dore defense, Jimmy Dore retweets it. Now, Jimmy Dore did not follow this character, this account. Jimmy Dore, there was no search terms, like the term Jimmy Dore was not in my tweet. I just called him Dore. The replier just called him Jimmy. Also, there, yes, I know.
And
also,
it was 2 days old, and it was retweeted right away. Yeah.
Like everything just added up. But, you know, people still argue that it's a possibility. And I agreed. I said alleged. I said it would have been a huge coincidence, but there's a chance that Jimmy Dore could have fallen on this tweet from me just as a replier defended him and he retweeted it. Totally a possibility. But then I dug into it some more. Some of my viewers looked into things. We gathered our evidence and I presented it. And I have a pretty slam dunk case now. I feel very comfortable saying that either this is Jimmy Dore or this is someone who literally is with Jimmy Dore 24/7. So feel free to play that clip. Now you can start at 1:30 because I just gave the.
I think it's still possible that my initial guess that it was Steph is real. I will put that out there. I think that there's still a chance that it's Steph, but that means that, you know, I would say that would be the only exception. It's like if it's not Jimmy, it could also potentially be his wife.
That's definitely possible, although I think some of the evidence that Matt presents proves that it is, in fact, Jimmy. But if it's not, it's definitely Steph. No doubt about that. Also, before we keep watching, thank you so much, Alex, for the 499. Glenn has the same problem. I like him more than Jimmy, but he cucks to Tucker sometimes with Bolsonaro, for instance. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Glenn is as, like, pro-Bolsonaro as some people made him out to be. I don't think that's true at all. But I probably wouldn't have, you know, sat next to Tucker while Tucker, like, you know, gave Bolsonaro a fat hand job and did propaganda for him while not pushing back much, to be honest. So, you know, it is what it is. But thank you so much, Alex, for the 499. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'd be interested to have Glenn back on to talk about Bolsonaro sometime if he wants to. But yeah, I would kind of agree with Gavin's assessment there. I think that, you know, I think that there was a big concerted effort by people to pretend that Glenn was like going to be stoked if Bolsonaro won. I don't think that was actually the case at all. Although I would be interested to hear from Glenn if he feels like his views on that matter have changed since he described Bolsonaro accurately, in my opinion, you know, years ago as a fascist, a legitimate fascist, rejecting the label for somebody like Donald Trump and then employing it for somebody like Bolsonaro in the same breath. I'm not sure if that's something that he would still do. I'd be interested to hear from him about that.
Yeah, me too. That'd be interesting. But thank you, Alex. Really appreciate that. And thank you so much, Ivy, for the $2 for Gavin's car. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
What a sweet gesture.
The recap.
Great.
Two big pieces of evidence here. One is multiple parts, and one is very simple, and we'll seal the deal. Here we go. Look at this tweet from Jimmy Dore. It is a 2017 tweet from Jimmy Dore that includes a screenshot of his mobile phone, his iPhone. And he did not crop this screenshot, so it shows the full screen. And in this screenshot, you can see, if you look in the upper left-hand side of that screenshot,
No way.
it says his phone is connected to the Verizon network. That's the mobile service provider he uses. Now, if you go over to this @libtard01 tweet, he also uses Verizon. Look in the upper left-hand corner. This is also a screenshot from @libtard01 of his entire mobile phone screen. Matt, come on. Verizon's
Boomer.
one of the major 3-4 mobile carriers. You know, Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile. The odds of it being of two people using Verizon, of course. Yes, I agree. Let me continue, though. Jimmy Dore, in another tweet, takes another full screenshot of his smartphone, his iPhone. And the mobile service provider he's using is VZW Wi-Fi. That is, I looked it up, a Verizon wireless Wi-Fi service when you want to use your Wi-Fi to make phone calls, when you don't want to use like your minutes or whatever, and use the towers, the cell towers. You can use your wireless device to make the phone calls. I bring you to a libtard01 tweet, including a screenshot of his full phone screen, also using VZW Wi-Fi.
And an iPhone, baby.
All right.
Oh, it's better.
A little bit closer here. Not everyone uses VZW Wi-Fi, but it's still a Verizon service. And it's one of the most popular, if not the most popular wireless carrier in the United States of America. Okay, let's continue. Jimmy Dore went to Italy in September 2018.
Ooh.
Here's a tweet from September 24th, 2018. He's using Vodafone IT, an Italian wireless carrier. Vodafone IT. A day later, on September 25th, 2018,
This doesn't prove nothing.
at libtard01, tweets a screenshot that shows his wireless carrier is Vodafone IT.
That's a coincidence.
There are one of two things happening here at this point. Either this Jimmy Dore fan is such a big Jimmy Dore fan. I mean, we already know he lives in the US. He uses Verizon and the Verizon wireless Wi-Fi service, just like
There's
Jimmy Dore
plenty
does
I
when
can
when he's in the US. This guy is either such a big Jimmy Dore fan that he quickly also went to Italy, took a trip to Italy, so he can be in the same country as Jimmy Dore. Or this is a crazy coincidence. Now, maybe someone's going to argue, all right, Matt, the Jimmy Dore tweet was on September 24th when he was using Vodafone IT, and libtard01 was on the 25th. Where's the proof that Jimmy Dore didn't go back home to the US? Where's the proof his trip to Italy didn't end on September 24th? Well, here's Jimmy Dore in video form with his wife, trying out some pizza pie in Sorrento, Italy, just a few days after at libtard01's tweet.
And you can tell by the hat, not an imposter.
September 28th. To further this, and this is like, okay, I don't know how to make this any, like, this is crazy to me that people would argue something more here. But just in case, maybe libtard01 is actually an Italian who is visiting the US when he made those.
Also, guys, we got Jimmy Dore in the chat right now. One of his other sock puppets account is currently active in chat. What's up? What's up, Jimmy?
Jimmy, you could have just DM'd us and come on the show. It would have been no problem. We would have been happy to have you. It would have been great. We could have had some Negroni Spagliattis. It would have been like old time.
We got Jimmy Dore in the chat right now, guys.
His first tweets with the Verizon network, and he actually regularly uses Vodafone IT for his Italian wireless carrier. Well, Jimmy Dore, for some reason, I don't know why, also while he was in Italy, used TIM, another Italian wireless service provider. Maybe for different regions in Italy, you have to use Vodafone IT or TIM depending on where you are. Also tweeting using TIM, the wireless carrier from Italy. At libtard01, also using this same secondary Italian wireless carrier.
So now you can skip to 7:55 for the final bit of evidence. 7 minutes, 55 seconds.
This is like, I don't even know what I was expecting, Bender, but this has exceeded my expectations just in terms of how obvious this shit is. And I mean, this account,
real crimes.
You really should. You could like be a private eye. You could do it on the side. But like libtard01 is still active. I just want people to know.
He actually stopped whoever libtard01 is. I mean, we know now.
No, responded to a majority report tweet today.
There's a fake libtard01 now. You have to look at their follower account. The original one that has 300 something followers now.
I got
the one that's run by Jimmy Dore and or his partner stopped miraculously tweeting after my first expose.
Yeah, the Nina Turner one was the last one.
But play at 7 minutes 55 seconds for this, and this is going to be the slam dunk. This is case closed. It's Jimmy Dore or his partner. Includes a screenshot. I want you to look here. This is at libtard01's account. He's got a screenshot here. Scrolling down the screenshot, I want you all to pay attention to this part right here. This little black semicircle at the bottom.
Uh-oh.
Over the past 6 months,
God damn it!
all of these food processing plants that have been catching on fire and burning to the ground.
Epoch
These Dutch
times.
farmers in the Netherlands protesting.
Classic.
When you
Put out the
use
epic
Twitter,
though.
you got, look, I'll show you my account. I'm logged into my account. Here's at libtard01's account. And when I want to reply to him, if I choose to reply to this tweet,
Let's see that story.
you'll see right there is my avatar. And this is where I could reply. Look, hello, everyone. See, that's where I would reply. Right next to my avatar. Now, libtard01 over here, he took a screenshot of himself logged into his Twitter account, and he posted it. You see that little black semicircle? That yellow
See.
line at the top?
Where have I seen that before?
I want to remind you what libtard01's profile picture is. It's this Bernie painting here. That's definitely not. Look at that little bottom right there. You see that? That little semicircle with the yellow line. It's hard to see because it's far. And you see little white, looks like the top of white letters, right? I want to quickly go to Jimmy Dore's Twitter account. I'm going to once again show you the screenshot libtard01 took. What does that look like there to you? What does that look like there to you? Look at it.
Oh my God! Enhance!
Oh man.
Boom!
I mean, that's
Case
it.
closed.
libtard01. That's it. You Was can logged stop into, the or clip.
should I
That's
say?
it. Jimmy Dore, whoever Jimmy Dore's partner is.
All right, we figured it out. Man, I just case closed. Like beyond a
That is
reasonable
masterful,
doubt,
Linda.
you would win in a court of law. Unanimous jury deliberating for 5 minutes. It's over.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, the question is it actually Jimmy or is it someone who lives in his house, travels with him to Italy? I guess that's the question left to answer. But sort of a question that's moot point. Doesn't really matter there.
But I mean, why would someone who's traveling with him be taking screenshots on his phone?
Well, I'm
with
saying
his Twitter
it's
account?
it's
You're
his
leaving that room.
wife. It's his wife. It's
That
either
is-
him or his wife.
I'm sorry. Even that is beyond a reasonable doubt. It's Jimmy. It's got to be. Allegedly.
Yeah, and I just think it's
God, it was so.
if I can break in here again, obviously we've struck a nerve with the Jimmy crowd over here. I've seen the chat reaction. It's fucking hilarious. It's pathetic and it's embarrassing to be that fucking narcissistic, to be that up your own fucking ass. Oh my gosh, dude. Just absolutely hilarious. I mean, imagine I guess this has been going on forever. This is like an itch you can never scratch. I mean, some of those tweets were going back a ways. I mean, yeah, I guess, like I said, the tenacity, I respect it. Just the sheer, unrelenting hustle. He can't, people always say shit like, oh, Jimmy lives in your guys' head rent free. Apparently, everybody lives in Jimmy's head rent free. Holy shit, this man cannot turn it off. He cannot go to sleep at night unless he feels like he's vanquished all of his fucking. It's gonna make this follower count jump the fuck up too. Now that everybody knows it's Jimmy's burner, this account's dead. He probably has another burner already made. He's gonna learn how to not be such a fucking boomer and crop his screenshots so he doesn't get busted again. But just absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. So definitely pretty funny. Also, look at this fucking anti-Semitic filth that he retweeted. Hollywood and their liberal media aren't mad at Ye for actual. Oh, that's not why anyone's mad at him. No. They're mad that he said some harsh, long-known truths about who runs Hollywood and entertainment, how they run it, and that one of their own just exposed this. So that's the kind of shit that Jimmy's burner. That apparently Jimmy's too afraid to actually retweet on his real Twitter account, so he uses this sock puppet to do so. And a lot of times the tweets from this sock puppet account, as people have pointed out in chat, get retweeted by Jimmy himself. So that's pretty funny too. It's like when he's like, I guess, too afraid to say something. He doesn't want to be quite associated with it. He'll just go on here, type it up, and then retweet it himself, which again is pretty fucking funny.
And it's just a dead giveaway to what kind of audience he's trying to cultivate, right? Like fucking dog whistling to the fucking anti-Semitic crowd. Like that's who you want fucking clicking and paying your bills. Like imagine having just absolutely no soul. Like you were just willing to just be a money grubber from fucking anybody.
Yeah, truly insane. Just like mask off anti-Semitism. Crazy how that's been normalized on the right wing to the extent that it has been. Pretty fucking crazy. But yeah, case closed. Case fucking closed. There is no doubt, 100% chance that this is the Jimmy Dore burner account, which again is pretty funny. And again, it's pretty funny that they haven't tweeted at all, libtard01, since October 27th, when the original video from Matt Binder exposed what was going on here. I'm pretty sure he would have come out and said, yo, what is this crazy accusation? I am in no way related to the JDS, right? That's what I would, if I had, some other account that someone said is associated with someone else, I'd be like, actually, no, it's not. That would be the first move you would make, probably. And since this, libtard01 account is clearly always embroiled in the online discourse in the Jimmy Dore sphere, they clearly are aware of that video. They're clearly aware of these allegations. So for them to all of a sudden just go radio silent the day that this video drops and not come out here and even deny the accusations, I think that's also a smoking gun.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy loves to do the whole like fake dunking on people, he leaned into it hardcore. Like, remember when it came out that Paul Pelosi's attacker was like a pretty big Jimmy stan, and he was like, ha ha, like you guys are trying to pretend I did this, instead of doing like 1% introspection at all at like what kind of content he's creating and what impact that has on the universe. It was just 1,000,000% deflection. I think if he could deflect anything, he would be, but I think right now he's just decided that the best bet is to just let this blow over. He knows his followers aren't interested in like ever having to laugh at his expense or like holding him to any kind of accountability, so I honestly, I just think it will blow over, but for the rest of us, this is just fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and even if you're the biggest Jimmy stan in the world, which is fine, you're welcome in our community too. You have to admit this is pretty funny, guys. Like, you have to admit this is pretty funny. You can love Jimmy Dore and agree with him 100% of the time. You can't deny that this is pretty funny. And we'd also be making this segment if fucking Sam Cedar's burner account got exposed, or Kyle Kulinski's burner account, if they're out here, fighting on behalf of their own shit, defending themselves, being their own reply guy, as Isaac said. It's fucking hilarious. You can't deny it.
100%. It is very, very funny to just like, it's just so revealing about like what goes on in that brain of his.
Oh yeah. I mean, to be honest, guys, because like I said, the Vanguard, we take shit online too, especially when we're in the middle of like a major controversy or embroiled in some drama or something. Like, we see there's all kinds of crazy shit out there about Zach and I, horrible, mean things. You know what I do? I fucking undownload Twitter from my phone for a few days, or I just step away and I look at other stuff. Like, I don't know, man. I just think it's crazy when people are like out here searching their own name, obsessively looking at all of the comments that are being said about them, absorbing all of the negativity. And in this case, literally responding to it via a private anonymous account pretending to be someone else. It's like, bro, just fucking close your laptop for 5 seconds, go outside, smoke a joint, walk around, breathe in some fresh air, take a deep breath, calm the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's funny.
Oh yeah, dude, it is fucking funny. And I mean, yeah, just what an L. What a fucking massive L.
Yeah, definitely a fat L. Pretty funny stuff. And obviously no response from Jimmy yet. What?
Oh, I was also going to add that this is like the most like sheer like fucking textbook cowardice, right? Like it totally tracks with everything else I know about Jimmy. Like we don't have to get into our infamous Ryan Grimm exchange, but like, you know, getting into the chat of a random fucking YouTube channel and telling them that you're gonna like fucking end their career if they don't fucking ask the questions that you yourself were too shit scared to ask about because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about on anything unless you have a side guy there that's fed you your fucking lines. Yeah, pretty hilarious. This is what you do when you just are so desperate to be hyped up and fucking gratified that you have to do it yourself. Like, I mean, that's some Kanye or excuse me, Ye level hysterics.
Absolutely. Yeah, pretty funny stuff. Pretty funny stuff. And yeah, this is the original one that got it exposed. He's canceling Holla. I get that you hate Jimmy. Imagine talking about yourself in the third person. I get that you hate the Vanguard, but can't you just tell the truth about what we're saying, bro? And that, of course, came from that super cringy clip where he platformed Jackson Hinkle, you know, smearing the trans community and repeating a bunch of disgusting right-wing talking points about LGBT folks. So yeah, that's where the Jimmy Dore show's at right now, unfortunately. And I think this is, again, some more evidence. Even if you like Jimmy's content and agree with him politically, this is definitely some more evidence on the pile that he's a fucking unhinged narcissist.
Oh, yeah, dude, 100%. So, oh, shit. Wow. I don't know if you guys are able to hear this, like, massive thunderstorm that's been going on all day. You know, Gavin, as he was celebrating the Tea Guard, was also revealing how fake he is and how he's not really committed to Team Coffee over here. Because I did venture out in that torrential downpour and I did secure a cup of coffee just for the show.
Did you drive or walk?
No, I walked, dude. I was like, oh, it didn't look like it was raining that badly when I first left, but then it just started pouring when I was outside. But anyway, yeah, this is pretty hilarious. You know, LOL, face plant for Jimmy, cope and seethe to the stands, LOL. We can move on to the next MALD of the day. Oh, careful, you're upsetting the Jimmy stands. Yeah, that's kind of like our bread and butter. Don't forget, he made us. That's why he hates us and we have no job. Wait. Oh, gosh, guys, I don't know. Zoinks, we're still here. Can't kill us yet. Can't destroy our channel. Here, how about this? The massive censorious Jimmy Dore cult stand trying to rip away our income. Okay, how about I give you some of that medicine?
Thanks so much, Christina. Really appreciate that. And yeah, absolutely. Really appreciate your $4.99. Thank you also, Alex, for the $9.99. He's going on Tucker to complain about leftist bullying. LOL. Yeah, they're canceling me for having a burner account where I defend myself. I'm being canceled. Can you believe these woke liberals? LOL.
Hello, what? Yeah. Wow. I mean, this is the left. I remember at one point when the left used to be about free speech. You were part of the left at that point, huh, Jimmy? Talk to me about how crazy they are now. Well, oh, geez, Tucker, let me tell you just how crazy they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, thank you for the $2. Jackson Hinkle legit looks like Ron DeSantis' son. LOL. That reminds me of that meme where it's like him really small and then Tucker really big, and it's like, don't talk to me or my son ever again. Have you seen that one? I'm trying to find it. Oh God. But yeah, thank you so much, Zach, the Celtic guy. That's pretty funny and true.
Yes. Oh gosh, I'm super excited for this one. Nima Peeve Azar buying me a cup of coffee just to fucking pretend that she owns us. You have to admit that Aaron Mate was fucking hilarious. Everyone, I mean, he was fucking hilarious. That's why Gavin laughed in his face and made him mauled like a little baby on air. Only Vanguard's delusional mind think they won. Yeah, I mean, Aaron Mate, like he I mean, he goes out and he says his song and dance, and he interviews pedophiles and fucking former warmongers, and then all the other people in his audience clamor about how drag queens and pedophiles are like the #1 issue, but also how it's the liberals that canceled guys like Scott Ritter, right? Imagine parading a fucking Bush era neocon out on your show and acting like you're a leftist. LOL. Thanks for the $5, Nima.
For a softball interview, no less. Yeah. Here we are, seated with the former war criminal and current war crime denier to talk about how based Putin is or whatever. Yeah. But thanks so much for the $5, Nima. I do appreciate your comment.
He's not a war criminal. He just boasts about how there was his fucking strategy that was implemented in Iraq. What?
Oh yeah, war criminal? You mean someone who participated in and then profited off of war crimes? How could you possibly call them a war criminal? What are you talking about? That's a slanderous McCarthyite smear, Zach.
LOL.
Yeah. So do you want to move on to our next story? We got two more. One, Elon continuing to mauled like a motherfucker. I can throw this one up. So Elon's Twitter takeover, not going well, guys, to say the least. Holy shit. Like, I mean, I knew it wasn't going to go terribly well, but holy fuck, it's not going well. And he's out here mauling in public now. Dropped this banger this morning. Twitter has a massive drop in revenue. LOL. Elon Musk posting his L's. Am I right? Twitter had a massive drop in revenue. Yeah, I wonder why, motherfucker. Due to activist group pressuring advertisers, even though nothing has changed with content moderation, and we did everything we could to appease the activists. Literally, like, wasn't the N-word like trending on Twitter the day that Elon Musk took over? And he was like, basically saying that it was going to be a free-for-all and that no one would get censored and that all the banned accounts would be brought back, which again, you can have whatever opinion you want on wherever you stand on the First Amendment. That is what he was saying. And the day he took over, the N-word was trending. People were posting all kinds of crazy shit. It's really not that surprising that the advertisers started fleeing. And it's not because left-wing radical activists trying to cancel Twitter or whatever. It's because the advertisers saw where this was headed. Thanks to Elon's own rhetoric and the people that Elon has been coddling with and aligning himself with for the last couple of years now, and said, yeah, probably not a good idea. Anyway, Elon then follows that up by saying, extremely messed up. They're trying to destroy free speech in America, even though Elon himself just posted yesterday that he would be installing a censorship board, a content moderation board made up by people from the Anti-Defamation League and the George Bush Library. He's the one imposing censorship on Twitter. Again, he got called out by his own cronies on the right wing for that. They were like, what the fuck, bro? This is what you said you were opposed to. This is what you said you were going to fix. You're just going to reinstitute the same sort of content moderation board that was there before you got here? What the fuck?
Oh God, yeah, it's such a self-own, an own goal, if you will, right? Like his whole point in buying Twitter, right, was because he wanted to be the free speech zealot, right, and change it, right? And now he's like, even though nothing has changed with content moderation, and we did everything we could to appease. So if nothing changed, why did you buy Twitter? And then it's like, no, you realize, like we talked about this yesterday, right? We talked about how, like, you know, conservatives are in love with the like invisible hand of the marketplace until it takes all of its ad dollars away, because they've said a bunch of cringy shit that makes the product way less valuable to the people. It has way less value now. So yeah, it's absolutely insane. And think that he didn't consider any of this before he did his massive takeover. I mean, he probably did, and that's why he got cold feet to begin with, but he had already gotten so deep with such an valuated offer, right? Like Twitter was not worth $44 billion, guys. It's worth like fucking $10 billion, $15 billion, really. And he would be just barely hanging on if he bought it for like $35 billion. Okay. So this massive debt takeover is why he's doing all this shit. Like there's currently a class action lawsuit. I don't know if we were going to get to this in a second, but there's currently a class action lawsuit against the guy because after his massive takeover, you're supposed to give people 60 days notice that they're going to be terminated from their job. But instead, he's just going buck wild and about to lay off 50% of the staff and doing it so cavalierly, right, that it just really makes you hate the guy. Like he brings in the kitchen sink and it's just like, bro, you are never going to have to worry about money again. The guy that you fucking hired to code that has $100,000 in fucking college debt, was banking on this being, a job that, they could finally start to dig themselves out of that hole. Those are the people that are going to get on the chopping block. So yeah, no wonder everybody hates you now. And you basically brought it on him. He brought it on himself. He's reaping exactly what he sowed.
Absolutely. If you want to pull up an article about the Twitter layoffs, if you want to talk more about that. But I did see a tweet from Joshua Hill that I thought really summed up the situation perfectly, really said it better than I could have. So I'll just throw that up here. Musk firing half of the workers at Twitter while complaining that the woke left is ruining the platform is the perfect summary of the current conservatives movement. Get power, make things worse, play the victim, which is exactly what Elon Musk did immediately after taking control of Twitter. Like, bro, whatever happened to personal responsibility? Again, you're the one that's been aligning yourself with the right wing now for a couple of years, really embedding yourself deep in the trenches of a right-wing online discourse. And again, to tweet this out, they're trying to destroy free speech in America the day after you posted this, which got you called out by right-wingers en masse, which we covered on the show yesterday. Again, Mike Cernovich was pissed off about this. A bunch of people on the right wing were pissed off about this, Jack Posobiec, etc. Because Elon put this out about he was talking to civil society leaders from the Anti-Defamation League and from the Bush Presidential Library to continue to combat hate and harassment and enforce an election integrity policies, which again, whatever you personally feel about the First Amendment, whatever you personally feel about whether or not free speech should truly be allowed on private social media platforms, this is exactly what he was suggesting he was going to fix. Like, this was his whole point of buying Twitter in the first place, was he was like, you know, this is beyond the pale. They're having these policies enforced to combat hate and harassment and misinformation and election integrity bullshit. We got to stop this. That's why I'm going to buy Twitter and get rid of all of these censorious content moderation boards and misinformation experts and, you know, warnings and flags when something is posted that isn't accurate. But again, so he was called out by the right wing for doing that yesterday. We talked about it. But now he's out here saying that the liberals and the activists are trying to destroy free speech in America, even though what they're trying to do or what they want is exactly what you want and exactly what you were suggesting that you were going to continue doing.
Yeah, it's a head scratcher, right? Because it's like, for as much money as this guy has, he really does just come across as dumb as rocks, man. He just comes across as dumb as rocks and just acted entirely on hubris and like fucking lack of impulse control, and the fact that he was the richest man in the world and he could do whatever he wanted, and Twitter was going to be such an easy ship to run if he ran it. And that's kind of the way that he does everything. Like, people still have it in their brain that he like somehow like invented like modern electric cars or something with Tesla. It's like, no, he acquired a company that had all that tech already ironed out, and he did a pretty piss poor job of running it. Frankly, he had a massive amount of cash injections. You know, he got subsidies from the government, and he really wasn't running the company that well, actually. And there was a lot of doubt a lot of times. And it was actually because of how poorly he was running the company that we got to see all those puff pieces written about it. It was like, Elon reaches into his own pocket to do payroll. It's like, yeah, that's because you run the company into the damn ground. It's not making any money. You can't pay people. How is that a W for your business acumen? Right? Same kind of a deal here at Twitter, right? He's fumbling and fucking it up. Like, he did one, like, if you want to credit him to something, he probably did do a lot of the coding on like x.com and PayPal, and he had a fuck ton of money, but he was probably overseeing it and doing some shit on the ground. So what? Do you know how many people invented websites at that time? It doesn't mean that I don't know. It's just insane that people have just given this guy this like, oh, like, you know, Rogan would always like include him on his list of people that should be included in like a tribe of elders. Like, people really know what's going on and need to make decisions. Clearly, this guy does not know how to make critical decisions. One, because he wouldn't have put himself in such a massive like leveraged position on Twitter. And two, just because, I mean, making like negotiating online and trying to meme your way to saving a company, not going to work.
Yeah, and it really begs the question how much longer he's going to be able to run Twitter at all before just trying desperately to sell it off and recoup maybe half of what he spent on it or something like that. Because, guys, advertisers are fleeing. I don't know if you saw yesterday, Pfizer dropped advertisements from Twitter. I think that L'Oreal, like the makeup company, suspended its advertising on Twitter. General Mills suspended its advertising on Twitter. Audi suspended its advertising on Twitter. Like, a lot of big advertisers are fleeing the platform, and advertisers already aren't enough to make Twitter profitable. That's why Elon Musk is out here desperately coming up with potential ways to turn a profit. Like, for example, charging people $20 or $8 a month for verification, or turning Twitter into like this pay to play platform where if you pay him, then they'll prioritize your content in the algorithm and give you a boost in the replies of certain tweets, stuff like that. So he's desperately out here trying to figure out ways to turn a profit. Meanwhile, all the advertisers, which already aren't enough to make it profitable, are fleeing in droves. It really does beg the question, like, how is he going to salvage this? I don't see a way for him to salvage this at this point, to be frank. Do you see any way out for him, Zach? Do you think that this is going to just result in him, you know, turning it around 6 months later and trying to flip it?
I don't think he can do that, dude. I don't think he can just turn around and flip it and eat the billions and billions and billions of dollar loss. I do not see that as a potential business reality, given the fact that, you know, he's taken loans from all over Silicon Valley. I mean, he's in a really leveraged position. I mean, that would be extremely bad for him. That would be like the last thing that he would fucking do. And I just think that what he's probably going to do is he's probably going to try and stretch it for a while. He's probably going to have to try and have the, you know, dust settle, you know, make this not such a hot topic issue. Then I think he's going to have a new CEO come in, a new spokesperson come in. I think he's going to bring in a lot of people that he's still the owner. He's still leveraged to shit on this, but he is not the face of Twitter anymore. I think that's more the route that they go. I think they realize that it's such a goddamn disaster to have Elon Musk out here making a fool of himself day in and day out, you know, like putting shit in his bio, like really cheeky early Silicon Valley stuff. He still thinks it's 2003 and he's Mark Zuckerberg, like, you know, put like Twitter complaint hotline guy, like all this kind of stuff. Like that's not going to fly once he brings in the new bosses to try and actually milk this cow for some money. So I hope he loses his ass. Don't get me wrong. I hope that every bad possible business outcome does occur to Elon Musk. But I'm just looking at the writing on the wall, and I think that that's exactly what they do. They just remove his presence from it as much as they can, even though he's still going to be on paper fiscally responsible for this. Even though you're gonna, kind of like what they did with you know, in the wake of Larry Page and Sergey, what's his fuck over at Google. Like they still had really a lot of voting power and they were still the owners, but they restructured it and they were not like the face of it anymore. I imagine that's kind of what they'll do with Elon Musk. Right now, he's trying to be like the Steve Jobs of Twitter and like be like really brash and in your face and like have people, you know, adulate him as a genius. That's backfiring like fucking crazy because people hate billionaires and their game is up. So yeah, I think that's what happens is, you know, he still stays leveraged on paper, but I think that they're going to fucking wring his neck if he still like runs this company into the ground.
True that. Let's address a couple super chats before we move on to our third and final story for today. Thank you so much, Christina, for the 199. So there mate stands too. Yeah, we found that out.
Yeah, you missed one. We can't miss out on Nima, the Copa, and Sida.
Sorry,
this is the Vanguard after all. LOL, Vanguard still maldi. See, this is what I love about people like Nima is the like insane cognitive dissonance. It's like if you don't interview somebody that Jimmy doesn't like that, then you're a softballer, like a ball licker or whatever the fuck. But the second you provide legitimate pushback to somebody who's under Jimmy's wing, then all of the like fucking tone police come out, like the people who mauled to shit when people get mad that Jimmy like gets finger wagged at for how he presents himself. It's like, LOL, you cannot have your cake and eat it too, Nima. It gives away your whole fucking game. But I appreciate the other £5. That's for Gavin's coffee. So yeah, based Nima over here, hate watcher of the live stream. You get the crown today, Nima. Really appreciate it. It was tough running between you and Nikomata, but you broke out.
Yeah, this is Jimmy's other sock puppet account, currently active in the chat. So what's up? Once again, what's up, Jimmy? Glad you tuned in for the show. Feel free to hit us up whenever. We'd be happy to debate. But yeah, thanks so much for the £5. And thank you, Mike, for the $2. Here's a Costco hot dog just to say Nima is coping. LOL. Appreciate that, man.
Dude, I could go for a Costco hot dog as soon as vegan week is over. You know, I'm planning on doing another week, probably of vegetarian eating. So I'll have to stave off another week for that Costco hot dog. But one day I will be reunited with the Costco food court, Mike H., and I will think of you as I eat that hot dog.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. Really appreciate that one. And they were coping for sure. Coping and seething, in fact. Thank you also, Zach, the Celtics guy, for the $2. Thoughts on Mint Press News? They are pretty good. Yeah, from what I've seen, Mint Press News is pretty solid. I've really enjoyed a lot of their reporting. They come with a strong anti-imperialist perspective, and for the most part, from what I've seen, speaking straight facts.
Oh yeah, I like Mint Press a lot, actually. I don't read them like every day, but I used to go to their website and like read most of what they had pretty much every day. Now I kind of just get their news from Twitter, but yeah, nothing bad to say about Mint Press.
Absolutely. And thank you, Alex Khan, for the $4.99. Also, hate a lot of Elon's Twitter, but the $8 for people who want to be verified is based. I don't really think it's a very good, like just from a business perspective, I don't really think it's a good idea, because you already are pissed off all these kind of blue check accounts. You're already seeing a lot of blue check accounts, you know, leaving in droves, like accounts that have a lot of following, you know, not accounts that I even really give a fuck about, but for example, people like Patricia Arquette, big like resistance poster, a lot of those kind of accounts left Twitter in protest of Elon Musk. And the majority of Twitter's engagement comes from these big blue check accounts. So you're already pissed off a lot of the blue check accounts. Now the ones that are left are also going to be pissed off. People like Stephen King out here, for example, saying like, I'm not going to fucking pay for this shit. Like, I'm the one making you money, bitch. Why are you charging me? So you're going to see more people like that leave. A lot of people, even if they do pay for the verified badge for the first like month or so, like as in just normal, regular people who aren't already verified, I doubt they're going to like keep paying it on a monthly basis. Eventually they'll be like, is this really worth it? Why am I doing this? Or their credit card will expire or something like that. And even if all the people on Twitter that are currently verified decided to pay the $8 and remain verified, it still would be a fraction of the money Elon Musk needs to turn in order to make Twitter even remotely profitable. Like, he needs to be making billions and billions of dollars, and this would be only earning in the like what, couple hundred million range, maybe not even that. So it's really not even that good from a business perspective. Even if you put that aside, though, it's also just stupid, because the point of being verified is not just to have like a status symbol, like a little badge that says like, I'm a cool person or I'm a serious person or something. No, the point of being verified is if you're a public figure or an organization, you have the verification so that people know you actually are who you say you are, that you're not some imposter copycat.
Well, wasn't that why you were saying the other day that you thought everybody would get the $8 verification?
What do you mean?
Well, yesterday or a few days ago, weren't you kind of arguing the other perspective on this? I was just curious what made you change your mind.
The other perspective as to what was I saying?
Oh, well, I just remember I was like the $8 thing, and you were like, everybody's going to have to, because how else are you going to verify that you're like a legitimate business?
Well, I think a lot of businesses will, like, for example, the New York Times or the AP or something like that. But a lot of actual public figures, again, people like Stephen King, that came out here and were like, fuck this shit, I'm not doing that. I wasn't predicting that. I didn't think that a lot of these kind of high profile people like Stephen King were going to come out here against this and say like, this is absolute bullshit. No, I'm not paying for it. Even I was watching Breaking Points and Crystal Ball was like, I will happily lose my blue check instead of paying $8 for a month for it. Because like, I don't want to be known as one of the people that capitulated and put my hard earned money into this bullshit. So I think a lot of people, I don't think, not even everyone that's currently verified, I think we'll probably see like that, be cut in half. And then, some other people will sign up for verification and pay $8 for it. But I just don't think it'll be enough to make it a remotely sustainable business model.
I totally agree with that. I think that if they do see an uptick in people who pay for it, it'll be from the exact opposite spectrum of people who normally pay for it. Like, oh, if I am a user that's like an influencer and that's how I make my living, is like being this person on Twitter, then I would probably like sustain it. But you also, I guess you do have to grapple with the fact that does kind of come with the social cost now that everybody knows that you're paying $8. So you might like, I don't know. It's interesting because if you look at the demographics that use Twitter, I guess they might get a decent number of like Chads and Chuds that want to like be Elon and get them to sign up for it. But I think you're probably right that it doesn't offset the loss of somebody like Patricia Arquette or Stephen King, or if it trickles all the way down to Breaking Points and they don't want to do it. It's really interesting because it'll kind of change the way that people, not that this is maybe at the top of Twitter's line, but I think a big reason people use Twitter at this point is news, man. At least the most active engagement comes from news content. Well, if you can't verify that this is coming from this outlet, or if you can't verify that this is coming from this journalist, like if I see something from Ken Cliftonstein or Lee Fong or somebody like that tweeting about something, I'm like, all right, this probably checks out, right? But if they've removed that entire, check system for news, I think that, that could end up fucking engagement as well. But yeah, I saw this Twitter exchange.
Yeah, and again, there definitely will be some accounts that pay for it, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough to even really make a difference at all. It'll be a drop in the bucket when it comes to the ad revenue gained versus what they actually need to be profitable. And if you compare that to the amount of people that are fleeing the platform and the amount of advertisers fleeing the platform, again, it's a drop in the fucking bucket. It's not going to make a difference. And yeah, this was hilarious. Elon groveling at Stephen King's knees saying, oh, how about just $8 instead of 20? Oh, you're going to leave? How about $8? Like, it's so fucking pathetic. And it just shows how incompetent these, megalomaniacal billionaire capitalists are. Like, I thought you were a genius, Elon Musk. You can't even figure out how to make Twitter profitable. In fact, the minute you touch it, the advertisers start leaving or fleeing in droves. Like, if there was a real, it's just funny that he's so fucking incompetent, more so than even I would have expected.
Yeah, I did read that book Chaos Monkeys, which is written by the dude that worked on the how they actually did end up making Twitter profitable, and how they do the targeted ads and shit. It is very fucked up how Twitter makes money, and they do it by exploiting your impulses and your search history. So that's really interesting. It's not but anyway, that would be the way that you would have expected Elon to already understand that. By charging individual users transactions, Facebook already learned the hard way that was a disaster for their fucking company. Everybody stopped using Facebook. Do you remember I remember when I was in high school, it was maybe my junior year of high school, they made Facebook company of the year, and everybody thought it was a fucking joke because nobody used Facebook, and it was Facebook was eating shit harder than it ever had in 2014, and it was the most uncool platform. It still basically is the most uncool platform. They've just leaned into the whole fucking boomer thing and then bought up everything else. It's just crazy to me that this guy has no understanding of how the actual business of social media works, and he spent $44 billion in a debt finance takeover just to fucking jerk himself off, basically.
100%. So yeah, super funny tweet from Elon, just straight up posting his L's online. And as I said the other day, regardless of how you feel about free speech, I consider myself a free speech maximalist. I believe in the First Amendment. But one thing I'm smart enough to understand is that we're never going to get unfettered, pure First Amendment free speech from a fucking private corporation. It's never going to happen. It's simply never going to happen because, again, private corporations, all they care about is enriching their shareholders. All they care about is turning a profit. And to turn a profit, you need to have advertiser-friendly content. Allowing anything to go on a free speech or on a social media platform like Twitter is not in any way conducive to advertiser-friendly content. It's quite the opposite. So if you want to have a platform like that, that's cool. I would support that. But just know that it's not gonna come from a private company like Twitter. It never is. That interest of free speech is diametrically opposed to their other interests, their actual interest, which is making money. Again, anyone that thinks that Elon Musk, even if he wanted to, could make this happen is a fool, a straight up fool. As long as we're relying on a capitalist private corporation, they're never going to value free speech over the willingness of advertisers to stick around and keep paying them.
Yeah, 100%. So, and that's the entire way that they make money. And driving clicks to another website where a purchase is made, that is how, or just driving a click to it, period. I mean, that's the whole bread and butter for Twitter. The only way that I could see him selling it for a massive loss, and this is just, conjecture, there's, I don't know, no reality to this, is that what if Bezos and all of his fucking Luther Corp, aspirations decides that he will buy Twitter also, and then all Amazon Prime members will get priority blue checks and access to everything. And then you automatically get a subscription to the Washington Post, and only Twitch can be streamed as videos on there. And it's all proprietary, and it's slowed down if you're not, all the content that's on there is hosted by Amazon Web Services. It's all fucking integrated, yada, yada, yada. I could see that. And unfortunately, our antitrust laws are such horseshit that he could probably get away with it. So that would be my only fucking Machiavellian prediction for you guys. But we have another story to get to.
That's actually an interesting idea. Because Amazon doesn't really have a social media, right? Bezos doesn't have that in his arsenal. He would probably be in the interest of acquiring, because they made Amazon Prime a pretty competitive streaming service. They have Amazon Web Services, but they don't have that. They don't have that feather in their cap. I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually a possibility, Zach. But anyway, definitely funny stuff. Thank you so much for the 279. I see Melanie. Really appreciate that. Hi from Toronto. Elon's incompetence is shining. Yeah, it's really something. Like I said, it's even surpassed what I would have ever expected. I knew Elon Musk was an idiot. I knew that his reputation as being a genius, the modern day Tony Stark, or a real life Tony Stark or whatever. I knew that was bullshit. But even I didn't realize just what a massive fucking loser he is, and just what a completely incompetent and buffoonish moron he is. Even when it comes to something as simple as making the most widely used fucking social media platform profitable.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out to you. I see Melanie, and yeah, Elon is a real dunce. He's not as smart as he makes himself out to be, and in fact, his insane hubris probably clouds much of whatever intellectual ability he had. So, shout out to you. Oh, yep, Gavin's Costco smoothie for you. You didn't get left hanging by Mike H today.
Yeah, I really appreciate you, Mike. That's funny. I'll definitely get me a Costco smoothie. Costco has some good deals, man. They really do. But yeah, thanks so much, Mike. Really appreciate that. Thank you also, Sean Shank Redemption. Haven't seen you in the chat for a while, Sean Shank Redemption, but I'm glad you're back. Hopefully you've been enjoying the stream today. I'll save the $8 for a Twitter account. I don't have, and stick with Xbox Game Pass. Stay high, peeps. LOL. That's funny. Yeah, I don't blame you. I wouldn't even recommend getting a Twitter account. Honestly, it's not probably worth it if you value your mental health. And also you can just get all that on the Vanguard. Just watch the Vanguard if you want to know what's going on Twitter. No need to sign up for one yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we bring you bite-sized Twitter bits. So yeah, shout out to you, Sean Shane. Good to see you back in the chat again. Looks like we got one more. Elon was born on third base. Shout out to you, Christian999. Elon was born on third base. Retweet. Gavin, get your car. LOL. Yep, perfect. Shout out to you. $2 for Gavin's car as well. Really appreciate that, Christian.
That's the $2 Chuck himself, Christian999. Thanks so much, man. Really appreciate that. And yeah, do you want to move on to our third and final story, Zach?
The red wave, the crimson wave, a la The Shining, as Joe Rogan put it the other day. Yeah, it is. I mean, it is going to happen, guys. It is not looking good for the Dems. At one point, I thought they might retain the Senate. I am skeptical that happens. In fact, I downright doubt it at this point. It looks like the polling has started to shore itself up. People are very unhappy with Joe Biden. People are very unhappy about the economy. And they're very, very unhappy about the lack of fucking promising candidates the Democrats had to offer. Their shining star, John Fetterman, through some of his own fault and some of circumstances, has just kind of shit the bed. Not looking like it's going to work out in PA. Potentially, Herschel Walker takes the dive. That would be the one chance the Dems have of securing that seat in Georgia with Raphael Warnock. But everywhere else, man, I just don't know.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the Democrats, guys. It is not looking good for the Democrats. And this is a wound of their own making, if you ask me. They've really failed this midterm cycle to promote their accomplishments and to do adequate propaganda in the face of the intense and increasing attacks from the GOP. This is just newly updated on 538, which of course keeps track of all this stuff and makes predictions. For the first time in a while, 538 is actually predicting that Republicans will win the Senate. They're giving them a 54% chance over the Democrats, who they give a 46% chance. Again, this is according to an aggregate of various polls that are kind of put together in order to come up with this model for predicting who's going to win the Senate, who's going to win the House. And like I said, a red wave has been predicted for a while, but most people, including 538, were predicting for the longest time that the Democrats would pull out the Senate, that at least the Democrats would hang on to the Senate. Again, that has now changed, and at the worst possible time, because midterms are in 4 days, right? So this is the perfect time for the GOP to be having kind of a crest. It's like the perfect time to be peaking, going right into midterm election days. And yeah, it's really just because of how incompetent the Democrats have been, not only at legislating. Obviously, they failed to institute many of the reforms that Joe Biden promised they would. Many of the policies that they have passed, or many of the bills that they have passed, have been kind of half measures. The student loan debt is embattled in the courts. The marijuana pardons weren't really very much at all. He still hasn't decriminalized cannabis. So it's like half measure after half measure, giving people just kind of something to be excited about, but nothing truly tangible to improve their lives. Inflation keeps going up. Gas prices keep going up. They keep talking about Roe versus Wade, which is definitely important and a hard-hitting issue to a lot of Americans. But unfortunately, it has not proven to have the longevity necessary to carry them into a midterm victory, or rather to stave off a Republican victory in the midterms. Again, as important of an issue as that is to a lot of people in this country, the economy is an important issue to basically everyone in this country, left, right, independent, centrist, whatever. Everyone sees the gas prices going up. Everyone's hurting when they go to the gas station and, their grocery bill is hundreds and hundreds of dollars. This is something that affects literally everyone. And that's what people vote on. They vote on the kitchen table issues, so to speak, the economy, gas prices, inflation, etc. All the other issues kind of take up a backstage, and the Democrats have not been able to competently, push back on some of this rhetoric and a lot of these attacks coming from the GOP.
It's the economy, stupid. Yeah, I can't do a Bill Clinton. I'm sorry, guys, but that's the only thing that fucking rings into my head. I can do that. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, but no. It's the economy, stupid. No, I don't know. I wasn't alive for any of Bill Clinton, so I'm sorry. I don't know. I can't do it very well.
You were alive for the first 2 years of Bill Clinton.
Oh yeah, you're right. I spent a real lot of time with the guy watching him on TV when I was fucking 18 months old, sitting there on the rug. Mom's folding laundry. I'm getting the fucking Monica Lewinsky trial on the news. You're right. I was taking notes. No, I'm kidding.
Just saying, we are technically Clinton babies. You said you weren't alive for any of Clinton, so I just had to correct.
I wasn't alive. I said I basically wasn't alive, right? I basically wasn't. What recollection do you have from when you were 2 years old? You basically weren't alive.
Can't be spreading disinformation or misinformation. What's the difference between disinformation and misinformation? Do you know?
Whether or not you were born before or after 1990, probably.
True. Anyway, thank you so much, Charlie, for the $4.99. Really appreciate that. That's a question for Zach. I'm sure he can provide you a wonderful answer, Charlie.
Yeah. Whoa. All right, Charlie. Sorry, my shit got fucked up for a second. Yeah. So whiskey cocktail for this evening. So one of the things I've been pushing, I'm getting into my bartender voice. One of the things I've been pushing on to people recently, when they ask for whiskey cocktail, is this cocktail I've been making that actually doesn't have any whiskey and all in it. It's a nice one to branch out a little bit in the fall, and it's made with Applejack, the oldest spirit made in America. And cognac, and in honor of Joan Didion, whose personal items are actually going up for auction this weekend. It's all a fortune, so I'm sure none of us could afford any of it, but I'm a big Joan Didion fan. She obviously tragically passed away about a year ago. Not tragically, she was in her 90s, but she's just a real loss, Anyway, the build for the cocktail is 1 ounce of cognac, 1.5 ounces of Applejack brandy. It's technically brandy, but it will come across the palate a lot more like whiskey. And then I just do half an ounce of Demerara that I've made with muddled figs. And then I rinse the glass with Peychaud's bitters and absinthe. It's a really nice little cocktail. But if you're looking for something that's more for the home bartender, I don't know how adventurous you are, Charlie. I don't know if you're looking for something super sophisticated, but if you're just looking for something really nice for a sipper, I've been in the mood for Sazeracs recently. You go to the store, you buy a bottle of Peychaud's. If you have a little bit of Luxardo behind, Gavin hates all whiskey cocktails. It is what it is. But yeah, you put some Peychaud's in there, a little bit of Luxardo, a little bit of Demerara, simple, mix it all up. Sip it. I like to express some lemon oil over the top of it. Bada bing. You're in business. So there you go. 2 recommendations for whiskey. Also, you could do Boulevardier. We were talking about Jimmy Dore. That's basically a Negroni with freaking whiskey in it.
There you go. Hopefully you enjoy, Charlie, and really appreciate the super chat. Happy Friday to you as well. And hope you enjoy your crisp evening with a cocktail by your side. But yeah, like I said, not looking good for the Democrats, guys. Looks like the Democrats are headed for complete defeat, which conveniently will give Biden a good excuse to do absolutely nothing for the remainder of his presidency. How convenient is that? Also, in case you guys were wondering, of course, the Democrats are also poised to massively lose the House. This one isn't really even up for debate. 538 has it an 84% chance that Republicans win the House. So basically, there's no chance that Democrats can pull this one out. It's basically, done and gone. No chance of holding on to the House anymore. But yeah, I mean, really, the Democrats only have themselves to blame for this. They really suck at doing propaganda for themselves. Like when Republicans are in power, they turn the propaganda up to 15. They're out here talking about, this is the best economy since George Washington was president. Like the country has never been greater. Everything is perfect. We did this, we did that. Every time they open their mouth, they're just doing propaganda for themselves and talking about how great they are. The Democrats, you got Biden out here, ultra MAGA Republicans are going to steal democracy. And people are like, bro, yes, that is true. the ultra MAGA Republicans probably will steal democracy. But guess what, motherfucker? Gas prices are going up. The price of groceries, it's going up. Inflation's a real problem right now. I can't worry about fucking democracy right now, bro. Talk about the issues that are actually affecting me. Like, it's just so self-disenfranchising on the part of the Democrats. What do you think is going to happen when you lean away from all of the potent messaging, when you fail to do adequate propaganda for yourselves and open up this lane for the Republican Party to just come in here, barnstorm on their faux populist bullshit?
Yeah. I mean, it's controlled opposition, essentially, right? They just go in there and foil themselves and make themselves the most like unlikable party so that the Republicans can keep driving themselves off of a cliff. And people are like, I'd still rather stay home than get behind these worthless fuckos. And that's how they disenfranchise everybody. That's how, they keep voter, levels low. Not only do they make it a pain in the ass to go out and vote, which you shall do, even if you're just participating in things like local ballot measures, but they just make they make you have no options. It's like you don't even want to fill out the fucking first half of your ballot. I don't even give a fuck. Like, I don't even think I will. I don't think I'll cast a name for Trudy Bush Valentine. I'm not going to vote for Trudy Bush Valentine for the Senate. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't care. So yeah, but I will vote for Prop 3 and I think Prop 2 and a few other ones. There are some good public measures on the Kansas City ballot this time. So anyway, that's neither there. Was that about all you wanted to say about the midterms, Gavin?
Yeah, shout out to you, Gamer with Opinions. Thanks so much for the $10. No matter who gets the power for the next 10 years, they will be slaughtered by the economy. I don't expect a real front runner to show up before 2028 at the very least. Otherwise, it's political suicide. When you say a real front runner, are you talking about a Democrat or a Republican?
I think he's just talking about like new fresh faces that are going to like kind of come up and emerge. Like, I think he's just saying it's going to be like a bloodbath for the next couple of elections, especially 2024. But that's definitely interesting.
I don't know, man. Stacey Abrams, Beto O'Rourke, these are real inspiring characters on the Democratic bench. I think that we're going to be safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that Pete's going to rescue us, Gavin. I think that's some salient analysis. No, I'm kidding, obviously. Look, I hope that you're wrong, Gamer, but yeah, I don't expect some real, a great shark, as Hunter Thompson referred to them, right? Like another Bernie Sanders, right? I don't know. Those aren't, you don't just find them at the local dollar store, right? Those are rare breeds. So you might be right that it's 2028 before we get another guy. And at that point, it'll be too late to save our planet. So I guess you're saying we're all going to die, Gamer with Opinions. That's a nice, cheerful way to end the show.
Yeah, absolutely. And also thank you, Mike H, for the $5. We need to do more night guards. Most of your audience works during the day, so you'd probably get more views that way. Yeah, we do need to do more nighttime episodes. I promise we'll try to do that. Zach does work some nights, so maybe I'll hop on here by myself one of these nights or invite on a friend to the show and do a show sans Zach. How would you guys like that?
Yeah. Whoa! No comedy on the Vanguard. No, I'm kidding. No, yeah. Plus, we could always just do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday. Those are all the days that I don't work. So, any of those days, I'm also down to do a night guard.
True. But yeah, thank you so much, Mike. We'll definitely try to do more nighttime shows. I'll try not to coo you too hard in your absence. But yeah, thank you so much, Mike H, for the $5. And do you want to get anything else, Zach, or do you got to get out of here?
Oh, I mean, I'm cool to say goodbye to everybody. Did you have another story you wanted to get to?
I was going to say we could briefly break down the controversy surrounding the marijuana ballot measure in Missouri, if you want to do that. The St. Louis mayor coming out against it, despite being a supposed progressive. Do you want to chat about that for 5 minutes or so?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, basically what's going down is the fact that the ballot measure doesn't go far enough to expunge a lot of people's convictions. They're worried that it because it limits the number of permits and licenses that growers and dispensaries are able to receive, that they're going to be all gobbled up by corporations, that monopolies are going to come in and take over the cannabis industry, just like they've done in every other state that's legalized cannabis. However, this is the classic textbook example of the left letting the perfect be the enemy of the good, right? You know what? Is it a perfect bill? No. But should more people get fucking arrested because they have weed while these same companies are out here profiting massively off of it? No. And if we put another ballot measure up next year that says, should we let the fucking people impacted by, the fucking crimes of the drug war get priority, I think an overwhelming number of people will come out and support that. But people, I mean, this was an actual ballot measure in the state of Missouri where tons and tons and tons of volunteers went out and collected signatures. I mean, it has been a long time coming. To come out and say that we should not legalize weed, I mean, that just seems backwards to me. But what were your thoughts, Gavin?
Yeah. So if you guys don't know anything about Missouri politics, Tashura Jones is the mayor of St. Louis, and she's actually a fairly progressive mayor, all things considered. She was in large part elected by the same kind of movement of progressives that elected Cori Bush in St. Louis. So she's kind of that ilk, definitely not perfect, but more progressive than you might expect in a big Missouri city. At least that's how she presented herself. But she's actually coming out now against this ballot measure, saying that we shouldn't vote for legal weed in Missouri, given the way that this ballot and this bill is kind of drawn up. She says she wants to see more business owners afforded the opportunity to sell it, basically kind of saying they're just going to give away the game to all these corporate growers and corporate dispensaries, which is definitely a problem. And it's a very accurate thing to point out. I also wish that more business owners were afforded opportunities in this industry. Obviously, I think that the first community that should be able to, or the first communities which should be able to kind of get their dibs in on the cannabis industry are the communities that have been most affected by the war on drugs. We all agree with that. That being said, that's not a reason to keep weed illegal. And as you said, Zach, that's only going to result in more people continually being prosecuted and incarcerated for the quote unquote crime of possessing or selling cannabis. So while this bill is far from perfect, it's also, I don't think, a good enough reason to not vote for legal weed. And I was making this analogy earlier to you, Zach. Lots of drugs are controlled by corporations. Like should acetaminophen not be legal because Tylenol vacuums up all the profits? Like, oh, there's not enough, small business owners that are selling acetaminophen. Tylenol really seems to have a monopoly here. I guess we better make it illegal. What? I just don't see how that logic makes any sense. And again, I agree with her criticism. I agree with some of these criticisms coming from progressives. But I do think it's important that we get cannabis legalized, and then hopefully we can change the industry layout after that. I know it's not, easy to do that, but I still think it's a better option than it continuing to be illegal and for people to continue to be fined and criminalized for possessing the substance.
100%. In the same way that I do not believe it is moral at all to have any kind of for-profit healthcare system, I am still not going to say we shouldn't have Medicare for all because it doesn't nationalize all of our health services. That would be ridiculous, right? I could tell you 10 million reasons why it is corrupt, immoral, bankrupt, all kinds of shit, right? Why we should not have any kind of for-profit motive in the healthcare industry, right? And I could parade all the data that shows that it's actually better if we do it this way. But I would still call myself a fool for not going and taking the step that will obviously still make a tremendous difference, right? And this will make a tremendous difference. We will be one of the red states legalizing weed while Joe Biden, a Democrat, remains in power and unmoved and unwavered on this issue. Could it be a catalyst for him to take some action at a federal level? I think it might be. It would be foolish to waste this opportunity. It's literally already on the ballot. It blows my fucking mind that people would say to vote no on it. It really does.
Yeah. Plus, think about all the medical patients out there. I guess they already have access to medical marijuana, but still, people even that don't want to go through the bothersome bureaucracy of applying for a medical marijuana license, which is costly. It costs upwards of $200-$300 to get a marijuana license. Medical marijuana is priced higher than recreational marijuana. People need this as a medicine for a variety of medical conditions. Also, just to deal with stress or insomnia. Like people rely on cannabis for a lot of medical reasons, which are very valid. It's not just degenerates like me that like getting high and watching Godzilla movies or whatever. Like actually people need this stuff. It's an actual medicine. And I think it's important that they're able to have access to it in the same way that I think it's important that people are able to have access to acetaminophen or whatever drug you need. Insulin, exactly. I don't think those drugs should be illegal just because, unfortunately, big pharma controls them and profits off of them. Would I advocate to change that system and put more licenses in the hands of small growers? Of course. I'm in favor of small businesses everywhere. I don't think that corporations should have as much control as they do in general in the economy. But that doesn't mean weed should continue to be illegal. That doesn't mean that prohibition should continue and that, police officers should be able to continue to lock people up in rural Missouri. It's decriminalized here in Jackson County, but, people are still getting fucked all across the state. It's a red state.
Plus, people who are trying to make a living fucking selling that shit can still get busted for a lot of fucking time in Missouri because they've decriminalized petty possession, but they have not decriminalized like moving, a little bit of weight for extra money. And nobody's talking about this, but guys, you can still way more safely buy from your local weed supplier once weed has been legalized. Like, it actually creates a business opportunity for a lot of those people. I know some drug. I don't know. I mean, I'm just, of course, saying all this to sound cool. I don't actually know anything about this, but I know a decent number of people that, they're like, no, it's actually not going to hurt me too bad. I just don't have to worry about like rolling around anymore. It's actually going to be like way less stressful to me. He was like, as long as these crazy motherfuckers are trying to sell people like a fucking bushel for an eighth for like $60, like I'm going to be all right. I'm going to get in there. I'll sell you a quarter for $60 and I'm going to be on my way. And now I don't have to worry about doing any jail time while I'm doing it. That's a win too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you live in Missouri, come on, don't be a fool. Vote to legalize cannabis. This is an easy issue. And if you're in a state where cannabis is on the ballot, that's definitely a reason in and of itself to go vote, in my opinion. That's actually something where you can have an issue or a meaningful difference on like your vote actually matters. And I feel that way largely about ballot measures. I support voting in general, obviously, but that's one specific issue where I really think it's important to make your voice heard, because ballot measures are basically direct democracy. There's no gerrymandering. There's no fucking electoral college. It's just do the people of this state want legal weed or do they not? And whoever wins. And that's democracy. That's actual democracy. Again, it's not fucking gerrymandered. It's not filtered through some bullshit anti-democratic, antiquated electoral college. It's just the popular vote on issues that matter and that would improve a lot of people's life if passed. So definitely important stuff, guys. Make sure to go out there and vote for legal cannabis if you live in Missouri or if you live in a state that has legal cannabis on the ballot. I'm not sure if any other states are voting on legal weed this election cycle, but if they are, then go make your voice heard.
Yep, 100%. I guess we'll shout out our patrons and get the hell out of here. Everybody, we will likely be back soon. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. Perhaps Sunday night we'll do the night guard. Who knows? You better hit that subscribe button and notification bell to find out. We're renegade, ungovernable guys over here, and we go live when we goddamn feel like it. So shout out to our comrades, Vanguardians, Super Vanguardians. They keep the lights on and the wheels on our van going round and round. You're all comrades to us.
Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in today. Make sure to hit that like button if you haven't already. It's a great way to support the show too, 100% for free. And if you enjoy our content and want to kick a few bucks our way, we'd also really appreciate that. The link's in the description, patreon.com/the Vanguard channel. Really appreciate the support, guys. Our patrons make the show possible. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to do this show for you guys. So thank you so much to the patrons. And yes, I promise we'll do a night guard stream in the near future, maybe on Sunday. So stay tuned for that, guys. Hit that notification bell so you're notified when we do go live Sunday night. And again, links in the description, patreon.com/the Vanguard channel. Hit that up, guys, if you want to support the show. There's also a PayPal link if you happen to be feeling generous. But either way, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hit that like button on the way out, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. Peace out, everybody.